and get him up and going. Michael Huff hurt a hamstring, and that'll be day to day, and we'll just see where he is as we go.
In recent weeks, it's become apparent that the guys you guys are missing, McFadden and Ford, and more in particular, your explosive guys, it's become apparent that teams realize you don't have those guys, and you're seeing defenses play a different style against you. What kind of challenges does that pose for you and Al and the coaching staff on the offensive side, knowing that defense is going to do different things now?
Yeah, you got to go back to the drawing board. I mean, what you once were, you're not, and so as I said, I think I said here a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, you can probably get away with that for a couple of weeks, and fool people before they realize what you really are. And then what you have to do is go back and do something to give yourself the best chance to win. What I do know is regardless of what you do, whatever scheme you come up with, you cannot turn the football over. You just can't do it. And that's where it starts. You got to quit beating yourself. You can't have illegal procedures. You can't have holding calls, and you can't turn the ball over. So you can't beat yourself first before the other team lines up to defeat you anyway. So I think that's where it starts. I feel very comfortable with our offensive coaches and myself. We'll come up with something to give us some points and give us an opportunity to score. What we have to do is make sure that the chemistry part of it, because there's so many guys have been taken out, of the equation from week to week, or either during the game, somebody goes down for a second, then they're gone, and you're plugging people in, that you keep that rhythm for the quarterback or for the offensive unit that you have. And that's the biggest challenge. The rest of it, I think we'll figure it out, but we'll figure this out too, and I feel very comfortable with that.
And how do you get that across to Carson, who pretty clearly it looked to be he was establishing something with both Denarius and Jacoby, and now he doesn't have either one of those guys? How do you get across to him that you don't have to try and compensate for what you don't have? Or
you do just what you just said. You tell him that, and that's what I've done. I mean, and I think he understands that. I mean, it's natural and normal for a guy in his situation to say, okay, I'm going to make this happen. And that's normal. I get it. But it can't be normal in this situation, because you can't put your team in harm's way by any stretch of the imagination. So it was going to take some great discipline on his part, and he has it in him. He knows how to do it, and I feel very comfortable with the conversation that me and him had, that he'll do that. Carson's a good player, and he's done some good things. He threw some huge balls for us last night and made some plays. Gave us a chance in some situations last night. So there is no problem there. The problem is when you get opportunities to, sometimes you got to say uncle in this league, and just whether you throw it away or you take a sack because. And sometimes that's hard when you're as competitive as he is, because you're so used to winning and making things happen with your right arm. So we'll go through that process, and we'll continue to get better at it. And he's doing a fabulous job, in my opinion. What we got to do is get back to playing winning football, where we're very consistent. We have spurts, in there on offense. We're like a good offense again. We went down there the first, 5 plays on the 6th play, you turn it over. I mean, we're marching the ball, and here you go. Those are the things that, to me, that are frustrating, that we need to fix, and we will. And I feel very comfortable with that.
Coach, why hasn't Michael Bush been effective the last 3 weeks, basically? How do you regard your offensive line?
Well, it's not the offensive line. I think it's what Monty just said. I think when people know, well, that's who you're lining up back there, and who else is going back there with him, you design ways to make sure that you get him slowed down, and then what you do, you kind of counterpunch him over here when you think they got you over there, and it leads right back to what we were talking about, turnovers. Then you can't turn it over. They're going to stack on a particular area to make sure that Michael can't get going, and that means they're weak someplace else, and you go scratch them over there, but then all of a sudden you make a mistake. Then it magnifies, and so everybody think, well, Michael Bush is not doing his part. He's doing his part. The offensive line is doing their part. I mean, those guys blocked pretty well last night. I mean, from a pass protection standpoint, 52 didn't have the normal game he has. 90 didn't have the normal game they have. What we got to do is be consistent and not hurt ourselves with turnovers and penalties, so that we can stay consistent throughout a football game and give Michael Bush those opportunities, give our outside receivers and tight ends those opportunities where they can make those plays.
Any explanation for Darius's rough start yesterday? He's been made strides, but then it kind of a step back.
Yeah, well, those things happen. I mean, he ain't going to be he's not the first guy to drop the ball this year. I think we know that, and he's made some big plays this year too. So, yeah, I mean, there were some things that cropped up last night again, and we'll address them and keep moving forward. But I'm not going to let that shadow overshadow the good that he's done this year. He needs to come back and be consistent and catch the ball consistent because he's shown that this year. And I think sometimes when you're in those kind of games, people start pressing, a little bit all around. And that's what I got to get the team to understand. We just play Raider football. We're going to be fine. Just play one snap at a time and play as hard as you can, and everything else will take care of itself.
Coach, how did you wind up with 12 guys on the field during Jordy Nelson's touchdown?
It was poor execution by us coaches, period. There ain't no other excuse for that. I mean, that's embarrassing. Shouldn't happen. It happened, and that's the way it is. That's poor on our part. We didn't get it done.
How close is Jason right now?
Jason Campbell? Mm-hmm. Again, he's not out there yet, so I think he's getting closer, but I think he's still a little ways away, from having an opportunity to come out there and play and throw the ball.
I'm sorry, did you say weeks away?
I didn't say weeks. I didn't give a timetable, but I think he's a little ways away. What that means is whether it's weeks, days, or whatever, but I think he's a little bit further away than I think we all think he is.
Okay.
Is that it? Yeah. All right.
21 minutes of Hue Jackson. When we continue, we'll break it all down right here. Raiders press conference live. Comcast Sportsnet California. Wingstop, bring it to us.
Guess what? I need some damn boar hunters. I need them to hunt them down with knives.
How about butcher shop? Could they go to the butcher shop?
No, they go to they already go to Safeway. They're already safe, okay? But I need wild boar hunters. I need them to go out there and hunt their pig with a knife.
Get it themselves.
Hey, rip their throat open and dig down in and get some bacon and eat it. That's what I mean, come on. Playing football, defense. It's about hitting people. It's about blocking and tackling. This game is not that hard. These are the luckiest guys on planet Earth. They are. They get to play football in the National Football. They're getting paid millions of dollars. Pay me a stick of bubble gum. Cut off my arm right now. I'm in. Go. I'm in. Count me in. I'm going. I'll run down on kickoff right now.
They need guys with that mentality to do it because early in the game, you look at the early parts of the game yesterday. Just open up with this one. It was a horrible first half for this team. You break down what they did in the first half. Defensively, they didn't get it done. Offensively, I don't know if they... I don't know if they weren't being that creative team they always said they were going to be. But you look at the first half, Romo, 31 points, biggest deficit a Raiders team has had in their history.
Yeah. Real frustrating. You have your quarterback who's forced out of the pocket, and it's like he's forcing to make throws. You got, but right here, Rolando McClain, run to the football and hunt him down and make a tackle. Okay, make a play. But guess what? Like I said, Jimmy, we need some boar hunters. Okay? We need Raiders. We need guys, Greg Biekert, who's coaching those linebackers. Greg Biekert is a boar hunter. I played with Greg Biekert. I played against Steve Wisniewski, who's on that staff. That guy would hunt you down to hit you.
All right, I'll tell you what. If you want boar hunters, they got to know what the boar looks like. All right? Here's what the boar looks like. How about if we give them that picture of the boar right there?
Oh, man.
They got to hunt that boar down, Romo.
Give it to me right now.
You want that boar.
Oh, I'll take him
You
down.
want that boar.
I'll take him down with my bare hands.
Exactly. And that's what this team has to do.
That's what they need to do.
You know what? Give me a picture of that boar with with lions across the chest of it.
I challenge Hue Jackson right now. I don't want a team of bullies. I want boar hunters.
We'll give the Boar Hunter Award out on Sunday.
Yeah, I want to find out who's going to hunt some lions, this weekend.
Boar Hunter Award. I'm right.
That's what I want to see.
I know. You know who hunts boar for us? Paul Gutierrez. He's in Alameda right now. Paul, you're a boar hunter. You're a wild boar hunter. You were in Green Bay. You were fighting with bratwursts, and now you're fighting flights, and then you're getting here to Alameda, and you're hearing Hue Jackson try to pronounce mid-foot sprain. What's that official term?
Well, it's from French history, right? So wouldn't it be Les Francs?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that?
I think that's what it is.
Well, guys, how about this one? They're calling it the injury the name of a girl.
What?
A Liz Frank.
A Liz Frank is what it is.
Okay? Call it like a Larry something.
All right. Exact. Get it? Make it mean and.
Yeah. Call it something like nasty.
Yeah. Not something nice and pretty like a
Liz.
No, not something soft.
Liz Frank.
All right. Let's get to Paul. Paul, you were there to see that. You were in Green Bay to see that debacle. You're in Miami to see that debacle. They've given up 80 points the last 2 weeks. That bully that Hue's building, he doesn't have them lined up to be playing their best in the month of December, does he?
No, and the weird thing about it is even Richard Seymour said it after the game yesterday, that generally you hit a peak in December, and that's when you start playing your best football, and the Raiders are doing anything but that. They're playing the worst that they've played. This is going back to that stretch of 2003 through 2009, which is kind of disturbing if you're watching the Raiders and you're have a vested interest, so to speak, from a fan's perspective. So the fact of the matter is they've got 3 games to try to make some hay and make right by their fans, and they've done it before, because when they won 3 games in a row the last time, they were coming off 2 pretty disheartening losses. So we'll see if they got it in them again.
Now, Paul, you know, everyone's been talking about they don't have their big playmakers. Could this be simply just like the Indianapolis Colts? They don't have their one big playmaker, and they haven't won a game yet. And do these 1 or 2 or all 3 of these guys, Darren McFadden, Denarius Moore, Jacoby Ford, do they mean that much to this football team?
Well, obviously, I think they do mean that much to him. I mean, if you think about it, it's just still kind of mind-boggling that Carson Palmer has yet to take one single snap with Darren McFadden. I mean, he was hurt in Carson Palmer's first game against the Chiefs, so he doesn't even know what that's like. He was starting to click with Jacoby Ford. He obviously found a connection with Denarius Moore. So in the past 2 weeks, he hasn't had any of those guys, and they're trying to do things. And you see Carson Palmer trying to do a little too much. I asked Carson last night after the game about it, and he said, yeah, he's pressing. He's trying to score 14 points on every drive, and for a veteran, a guy that's won a Heisman Trophy and has been to the playoffs for the Bengals, he thinks he needs to do it all rather than just letting the game come to him slower, and that I think is going to be a key. And you know, where has this explosive offense been? Where has the imaginative play calling been? It's been on the sidelines with these 3 guys, plus even the threat of Tywan Jones, who's the fastest guy on the team.
All right, Paul, I got a couple of different angles I want to take with you, but I'm short on time. I want to quickly ask you about Rolando McClain. He said last week he was done talking to the media forever, to which, you know, some of us kind of said, really? Because we didn't notice you there very much before. Did he speak to print media today? No cameras. Did McClain speak in the locker room today?
I wasn't there for it, but my understanding is he did speak to the print guys, and he snubbed our guy Keith. So Keith got no love from Rolando McClain today. And you know, 4 days after saying that he was done talking to the media for his career, and apparently the threat of a $25,000 fine for not speaking to the media does some talking for him.
It sounds good. I will point out, you must read Paul Gutierrez at CSNCalifornia.com. He's blasphemed the Raiders in his latest column and pointed out what it will take for them to get into the playoffs. Paul, great job. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you. And again, free Keith, our cameraman. He's got to be allowed to talk to Rolando.
Free Keith. I'm going to start that chant. Free Keith. Get him out there. Let the poor guy in. Rolando, let him in. When we continue, there was a defensive meltdown. We'll explain where the boar hunters were next.